All right, we are live here. It is Tuesday morning, Coffee with KPP Live. This is Kyle Roy, financial advisor with Kentucky Planning Partners, working from home in COVID-19 environment. My family and I found out that we do have a member of our household COVID positive. Found out last week, very quickly let everybody know. Took all the proper precautions, and just got to say, the outpouring of support has been tremendous. So we're all okay. Everybody is fine so far, thank God. We recognize that COVID-19 has affected so many people in so many different ways. So we're virtual. We're doing Facebook Live here via Zoom, and I couldn't be more excited to be able to talk to my friend Brendan McCarten, who is the owner of The Raven in Middletown, and has been co-owner of Molly Malone's for the better part of the last 12 years. So Brendan's story is just really interesting. Came over from Ireland as a young man, has traveled all over the world. He and his wife, Renee, have 4 beautiful boys. And I just can't wait to talk to Brendan here. I'm so grateful that he took the time to join us and hear about his story. So Brendan, welcome to the conversation.
Morning, Kyle. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you. So I see you're already there at the bar working now. I mean, is it busy yet? What's going on over there?
No, just the doors will open now for the staff to set it up. We're busy. We've got some construction going. We're finalizing the last few things. So you might hear some noise or not. There's an electrician here. The painters are here. I got Spectrum working upstairs as well, making sure that everything's up to speed.
Oh, fantastic. Well, hey, so if you don't mind, Brendan, so Brendan and I, we know each other through church. We're part of the St. Aloysius community up in Pewee Valley, and really over the last year or so, we've gotten to know each other. Our kids have been going to school together for a long time, but however it works, busy lives. But I'm really grateful to have gotten to know you and Renee. I admire how hard you guys work and the vision that you guys have, and I really think that your story is fascinating. So I know that you and Renee met when you lived in New York when you were younger. So tell us a little bit about your story, your childhood, your upbringing, how you came to America, all that. Tell us your story.
All right. Well, so I was born in the 70s. I've got 6 siblings, and we were in rural Ireland. We lived literally in the middle of nowhere. 2 fields from the River Shannon is how I describe it. A wee village called Ruski. We were on the Leitrim side of it. And I lived there till I was 18. Got through high school, and then I took off to London for a minute before my parents moved down to Limerick then, and then I decided to move back. My grandmother got sick, actually. She lost a leg with blood clots. So I thought that's enough for me. I go home and hang out with my nana, and furthered my education back there. I did 1 more year before moving on to college. I guess in the middle of all that, I got a job in the local nightclub as a glass collector. Quickly moved up to a bartender, and I've used that industry for the last 30 odd years.
Oh, fantastic. So when you say glass collector, busboy, you're a busboy, so to speak?
Yeah, I ran around. I'd have 20 pint glasses on each arm, bring them back up to the bar, put them through the glass washer, and the barman would be there pulling pints, and off they'd go again. So within a few weeks, I was able to get behind the stick, and as I said, I just moved into that top position. I've done it everywhere I've gone. Every job I got, I made sure that I got to the top of the ladder, if you will. So
hard work, grit, determination. And so at 18, you moved out of London. You said for a minute, it was for a couple of years, if I recall, in our conversation, you'd pop back and forth to Ireland, surprise your mom. And so what was the catalyst to have you move to New York? When did you decide to do that? How old were you when you did that?
I guess around 95, things were kind of starting to get bleak again in Ireland, And I guess itchy feet, Kyle, to be honest with you. I was just ready for something new. Where my parents lived in West Limerick at the time, I guess I kind of outgrew it a little bit, you know. I haven't tasted London for a while and different parts of the world visiting. I figured I'd give New York a shot. I had friends over there. Same idea. You go over and you find a roommate. You jump in and you just hit the ground running and try and find a job. So in New York then I started construction. It was the easiest way to get a job there. You know, it's always busy there. Within a few short weeks then I got myself a bar job in Midtown. I wasn't the top of the ladder there, but we were all equal. It was a small little Irish joint with just a few people, no food. And so we put together a menu or a file of all the local restaurants that serve food. And if people wanted to have something to eat there, we would let the neighboring pizza joints, restaurants deliver. You know, everybody delivered in New York on a bike or on foot. So that's what we used to help our boss maintain his business back in the day. And then I guess shortly after that, within a year, this beautiful young lady from Louisville, Kentucky walked in one night, and our eyes connected, and we fell in love, to be honest.
Yeah, that's great. And I loved it. Before the call, before we went live, you said across the smoky room, you know, and it's just, you know, I'll tell you what, Brendan, your story is really an American dream. You say you just kind of got bored of where you were. What the heck? I'll go to New York. And you talked about the Irish network being you found a community in New York. You just had grit. You were willing to do whatever it took. And, you know, I think we live in a place where good things will happen to good people. You might think you got lucky, but really you make your own luck. You were busting your hump, I'm sure, working late nights, getting up, doing construction work. And, you know, it's no coincidence that the lady of your dreams walked into that smoky room across and, you know, it's pretty cool too, because, you know, I've met Renee. You guys are just such a dynamic couple. You've got 4 really talented boys. Brannick is just an incredible musician. I know that he's going to be playing out at the Raven every so often. Can't encourage people enough to go out and see Brannick and his bluegrass band. I mean, the level of talent is extraordinary. If you closed your eyes, you'd think you're at the Ryman or something like that. You wouldn't think that they're teenage kids. And Renee is a powerhouse in her own right. She worked at the Coyote Ugly, right? She was working at Coyote Ugly. I think they made a movie based on her character, and then went, you know, moved back and forth from Europe with you. So you guys are just the rock star powerhouse couple, aren't you?
Well, I appreciate, Kyle. That's very kind. We are just a young couple. You're right. We've 4 beautiful children, all smart, talented in their own rights. And we're just trying to make a life for them. It's all about the kids now. I'm sure you realize that yourself. But you're right about Renee. She is a true powerhouse. When it comes to the Raven, our new concept, it is almost completely through Renee's eyes. She's from the color in the walls to the artwork that we're going to put up tomorrow. We work together on the menu. It's just all, I just can't say enough things about Renee. She's just she's as strong-willed as me, I guess. She's just brilliant. So she gets all the credit.
Well, and it's going to be, well, you guys both just work so well together. And so let's talk, you know, before we get into the Raven a little bit, let's talk about how you guys came back to Louisville and the story behind Molly Malone. So for our listeners that just joining now, we've got Brendan McCarten, who's now the owner of the Raven, he and his wife Renee, and they've been part owners of Molly Malone's, which really has become a Louisville staple. And I'm sure a lot of people are upset that Molly Malone's is going away. So let's talk about the history of Molly Malone's and how you came to be an owner there, and how the Raven isn't Molly Malone's going away. It's just an evolution, so to speak, of a hometown favorite.
Sure. So actually, Molly Malone's, we first heard about it when we were in Europe. Renee graduated from the University of Louisville a few years ago and got a visa to both Ireland and the United Kingdom. So we took off for a while there. I hadn't been home. It was made for a nice break. And so she got a job in Dublin. We both got jobs working together in Dublin in a prominent live music joint called Vicar Street. Anyway, so we're over there, and then Michael Hughes, the original founder of the Molly Malone's on Baxter Avenue, there was an article in the paper. This was opening up. So Renee's cousin sent the article over. Then we looked at each other, and coincidentally, Renee's grandmother was quite ill. So Renee went ahead and came back to look after her and pay her respects in that regard. And I contacted Michael, and he was looking for somebody with a bit of experience, and I fitted the bill. And he got me a lawyer. We figured out the paperwork, and next stop Louisville. So got in here. It was Labor Day. It was Labor Day weekend, I think, Kyle, in '98 or '99, and then we helped get Molly's going. Then Michael sold it in the interim. So my new owners, my new bosses, they kept me on as the manager for 10 years until the opportunity to open up the St. Matthew's location, where I was invited to become one of the owners with them. Of course, I jumped at the chance. We had tremendous success, and over the years, we just kept working at it to remain, like you say, a staple of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess moving towards closer to more present times, competition was strong in the corner. We're here in the middle in St. Matthew's at Shelbyville Road and Breckenridge. And we may have fallen a little bit by the wayside with social media. I wasn't too good at social media. And then over time, we decided, Renee and I talked maybe last April, 12 months, of maybe going on our own. And we came up with this conception of the Raven. And so it just started sitting at home at night while we figured out how we could possibly make it happen. And then COVID hit. So
let me talk about social media. How do you think social media has changed the restaurant business? So obviously it's changed the world, but specifically, how do you think it's affected the restaurant business?
That's a good question. So no matter how good a product you have or how much you believe in what you're doing, your life's work, if you will, there's both positive and negative that comes out of social media. If one person decides that they had a bad experience, whether we think it was a bad experience or not, if that gets blasted, that could have cruel effects on you, you know? Whereas some young person or younger person looks into their screen without being negative too bad, and it dictates where they go. You know, I mean, it's almost like the social media is a river for everybody to swim through, and where they land is up to just that one or two people. So that's a great point. So you have open table. Everybody's a critic. Everybody is a connoisseur, so to speak. And regardless of the credibility of it, you're right. That's gonna drive traffic. Perception is reality, kind of thing. So that's really interesting because you can actually see the effects of that and not even realize. Maybe people don't realize how impactful their critiques are, and or just how influenced they are by those critiques that really might not have any basis in fact, right? So that's a really good point. That's interesting perspective. So what do you think is the solve for that? What do we have to do to leverage it? Maybe. I mean, we're obviously on social media right now. There can be great power and benefit in the media, but how do you think we can avoid the negatives, or do you think it's just part of what we do and it's here to stay? Yeah, no, it's changing. I believe, I do like one landing site. It's not really it's not social media. It's Yelp. I don't mind saying it. Most restaurants are highly discouraged by Yelp. So much so that there's almost an internal unwritten rule that ignore Yelp. Again, I apologize to Yelp if you're out there. We've experienced it here ourselves. I've met people at the door, sat them, greeted them, spoke with them, checked on them, and an hour later it shows up you got a 1 out of 5 on Yelp. It's either I'm doing it completely wrong or I don't know. So we completely ignore some of them. I feel that if social media is going to play such an internal part of everybody's business, you, the person, individual, should be able to look into somebody's face and say, hey, I've got a problem with this, as opposed to, kind of hiding behind the screen a little bit and being anonymous. So
that's right. There's no accountability.
No, every restaurant would much prefer you to say, hey, I've got a problem, so we have a chance to fix it. Nobody's perfect. We try our best. We're reliant on others as well in every industry to do a good job for us. So it's a difficult one, but I just think that the world will become more positive as we get through this pandemic, and if people can just be a little bit more
friendly.
No,
it's all right. No.
Just a little bit more aware of their surroundings than they're just their own little space I think is an okay way of saying it.
Yeah, and you hit a nail on the head, especially in the restaurant business. If somebody's going to walk out of a restaurant and give them a 1 out of 5 stars, they might think they're being funny or that they really may not recognize that they're impacting real lives, real hardworking people. If you have a gripe, just go to the owner of the restaurant or go to the manager and say, hey, can I talk to somebody? Because to your point, we're all out here trying to do a great job. I mean, I go into your restaurant, Brendan, and I mean, I got to say, every time I go in, I ask you for that meatloaf, right? It's the best meatloaf on the planet. So I hope you guys get that back on the menu. But it's one of those things where, you guys are doing a great job. I love the restaurant. I love the concept and how hard you work. You're absolutely right. If somebody has a gripe, say it to your face. But I honestly think for the most part, it's almost becoming the cool thing to not be positive. It's sad. But let's move on from there for a moment and talk about, you were telling me a story before we went live about how your dad would bring you and your brothers into a pub. And tell us that story and how that relates to your life and what you guys are creating and sharing at the Raven now, because that story just warmed my heart, and it gives us some insight into who you are. And if anybody gives you a 1 out of 5 on Yelp after hearing this story, shame on them.
That's hilarious. As I mentioned earlier, we grew up in rural Ireland. I'm one of 7 kids, but just about the memory I have, there was only 4 boys at the time. There's 4 boys, 2 girls, and our youngest is a boy as well. So anyway, on the Sunday morning, the pub used to be open from 12 to 2. And then we would close again from 2 to 4. One reason was to make sure everybody went to Mass. It was kind of a Catholic thing. So after Mass, you'd go home, and then your mother would start preparing the meal. So Dad used to bring us down to Peter Reynolds's in Rooski, and we'd sit at a small little pub table, and he'd have a couple of pints at the bar, and we'd either get, if we were lucky, we might get our own individual drink, but more often than not, we shared a litre of red lemonade or maybe a Club Orange. We'd get the small little, what you would call an 8-ounce rocks glass, and it would be off the shelf, wouldn't be chilled, and you wouldn't care. And the 4 of us would sit around just in our own little world out on a Sunday morning. Mum has got the house to herself now. She's cooking the dinner. Everybody's happy, Dad's got his couple of pints. He meets the lads. Mum's cooking dinner uninterrupted. And us 4, we just get to get out and look around. It's funny you mentioned that. I was going through my old emails. I got an email from my father years ago. He's passed recently. So anyway, I opened it up and it showed the exact same pub that I was in 1973 or 4, I'd say. And it was a video taken in 1985 of the same owner singing the same songs in the same place. And my brother comes out behind the bar in the corner of the video. And now he was the first into the hospitality industry in my family. He still is to this day. And he was there working in Peter Reynolds's, where my father took us as kids, as the main barman, a mile and a half down the road from the house. It was a great story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I just love the fact, so everybody's happy. Sunday afternoon, Dad gets his few pints, Mom's home by herself, get the house to herself, and you guys at the pub just yucking it up, drinking lemonade, and if you were lucky, maybe a soda. What was the soda you were talking about, the citrus soda?
There's a pineapple one called Lilt, which was very tropical for rural Ireland. And then the more common one was Club Orange. And in fact, now that you mention it, I'm trying to find the right vendor. We're going to try and think outside the box with this COVID thing, Kyle, and we're going to try and have a little Irish shop here selling those kind of drinks and some Irish chocolate. And then the Irish bangers and the bacon, we're going to sell that wholesale to try and just spur some more revenue to get through the pandemic. You know, we just think it's a unique opportunity, despite the situation, to bring a little piece of my childhood into Louisville.
It's beautiful, you know, and the fact that you and Renee are doing it together. So that's what I want to kind of finish up the conversation talking about, is thinking outside the box in lieu of COVID. I mean, the world has changed in lieu of COVID. We want to get back to normal, but I think we all agree, whether it's virtual, whether it's wearing masks, social distancing, there is going to be a change that we're all going to be a part of. And I love the fact that you've incorporated these beautiful memories from your childhood, the concept of the Irish store. You and Renee are going to be bringing beautiful Irish product to the Louisville marketplace. And it really is a piece of you and who you are and your childhood. And I think that's incredible. So talk to us about that, about, you know, why the Raven? I know there's a family connection there. Why did you rename Molly Malone's as the Raven? And talk to us about this virtual store that you and the services you guys are going to be providing. And I hope that there's that meatloaf on the menu, by the way. I hope it is.
Well, every time meatloaf is on the menu, Kyle, I'll be sure to send you a text.
All right, please do.
I honestly, it didn't make it into the final cut. That was one of the toughest decisions we had, was trying to figure out what our new menu is going to be like. What do we need to keep from Molly's? Because people, just the local support through this pandemic has been phenomenal. I should actually stop and say that. And their preferred meals, we have to keep in some regard, you know. But we have to make sure that we didn't open up. Somebody didn't open the door and say, "Oh, hey, look, it's just Molly's with a new name." So we've kept some of the truer ones. We're going to tweak them to put our little stamp on it. And
I'm joking, Brendan. Your food's amazing. It's just funny. That meatloaf reminds me of being a kid. My stepfather used to make a meatloaf, and that just brings me back. But every time I've gone in there, every meal I've had is incredible. So I'm excited to see what new things you have to offer too.
Sure. So then,
just give our time.
That's fine. Yeah. So I guess with the Irish shop, so we're going to get into cheeses now. We talk about the Irish community and how they took after us in New York, etc. My buddy in Newcastle West, where my mother lives, I went to school with this fella. His name is Dave Cahill. They own Cahill's Cheese. It's right in the town my mother lives right now, Newcastle West in Limerick. So I've sourced his product, and it's been on our menu before, and because of that alone, and I'm going to bring on 2 or 3 more of his cheeses. And it's going to become a strong part of our menu. Our burger, for instance, we're going to put some Irish cheese and Irish bacon on it. There's a Ballymaloe. It's not a ketchup, but it's a tomatoey sauce that is on our kitchen table in the house in Limerick. that is, we found a supplier that's going to get shipped in. That's going to be on our menu. That'll be available for sale if people like it on the e-commerce. And just other things like that, like my grandmother, my father's mother, the lady who lost a leg there that brought me back to Ireland. We're going to put on, and this is a secret, whoever's listening, don't tell anybody. We're going to put on her chicken and mushroom boulevans. So my grandmother, she'd make her own pastry, stuff it with chicken and mushroom, and we bake it in the oven and put a little wee top on it. So we're gonna replicate that in honor of her. And that's just one of them. My mother's brown bread is likely going to be on it. And she also does I'm drawing a blank now, but one of her better meals is on it. I'm just drawing a blank. I apologize. But anyway, that's the height of the menu. It's going to be all family recipes, like you're saying, childhood memories, and then people can just judge then, and we can just bring them a little piece of history, if you will, from Ireland in the 70s through up through today. So yeah.
I love it. I mean, bottom line is what you're able to do is take your beautiful memories, the childhood that you had, the experiences that you had with your dad, and deliver that to us, to the Louisville community. And I just am so excited for you guys. I can't wait to see what the Raven will be. And I imagine bring it. I want to convince Michelle, say, hey, honey, it's Sunday afternoon. You take some time alone at the house, and I'll take the kids down to the pub. So, but no, it is a family-friendly restaurant. It really is just a beautiful atmosphere, especially when you have Brannick and his band out there playing. I'm sure you're going to be putting those nights out when he and his band are out there. Every night we go down there, it's just so fun. Lunches are great. So thank you for creating what's been an incredible experience, incredible memories for me. And, I give you my word, me and my family are going to come down there much more often than we can. We're out in Oldham County, but it's worth the trip every time. So I can't encourage everybody enough to just go support it. Check out the Raven, go online or give them a call and have takeout orders, and keep your finger on that pulse, because Brendan, the stories of your family and the memories that you have is something that everybody in Louisville can share with their family as well. So thank you. It's awesome.
You're welcome, man. Just while I thought of it, there is the Raven. You asked me and I didn't get to it. So my name is Brendan. Of course, my father was also Brendan. And Brannick is, of course, our firstborn. So in Old Irish, where we kind of got the concept, Brendan translates to Raven. So we named Brannick such because it translates to little or small raven. So that's how the whole idea kind of, so it's more of a tribute to my father. It's like you're saying, Kyle, it just continually flows fond memories of my whole life to date. I just turned 50. Mightn't be the best age to be still doing this, but it's a passion of mine. It's not like work at all, ever. And then with the full support of Renee, the kids, you're right, we will have Brannick, and his friend Ashlyn is a phenomenal guitar player. We'll have them back when everybody's comfortable, maybe outside in the spring if that's what it has to be. And yeah, it's just going to be a fun. It's just going to be a fun few years trying to resurrect this dream into an assured reality.
I love it. Well, I know that the community is behind you, Brendan, and I hope I'm going to encourage everybody to share this video with everybody that they can. And if you've never been, the Raven's brand new. I can't encourage everybody enough. You're open during construction, and just get over to the Raven if you want an authentic Irish meal with truly authentic, incredible people led by Brendan and Renee. So thank you both for just being an awesome pillar of the community. I love your grit. It really is an American dream story when you say I just got a little antsy and came over to New York. And quite frankly, the way I heard it is, you stayed here because you were swept off your feet by an incredible woman in Renee. So it's an American love story and an entrepreneur story. And I think yours is an inspiration for everybody. And the fact that you're sharing that happiness and that experience with everybody is special. So thank you, Brendan. And we all wish you the best of luck. We'll support you in every way we can. And I can't encourage everybody enough to go check it out. Go check out the Raven.
I appreciate it, Kyle. Yeah, the signs go up next Monday. So next week this is the last week of Molly Malone's in St. Matthews. I apologize, but we're really excited to reopen the doors as the Raven.
Awesome. Yeah, no, don't apologize. I think it's an evolution of something that's extraordinary, and your vision of those Sunday afternoons with your dad, I think that there are going to be a lot of those memories that Louisvillians are going to be able to have with their family, and especially with that extra dynamic of the Irish goods and services and clothing lines and all the things that you guys are to develop. So you're doing something truly unique, and COVID-19 is just a situation where when the going get tough, the tough get going, and you guys are adapting phenomenally well. And I'm sure you're going to be successful, and I can't wait to support you in every way. And we at KPP are just so happy for you, and can't wait to get the word out for you, bottom line.
That's much appreciated. I appreciate it, man.
All right, Brendan. Well, hey, man, great, good, best of luck, and thank you for doing this. I'm sure our listeners are going to, really enjoy this. And as always, if you have any questions, anything regarding your personal finances, no matter where you are in your financial life at KPP, we are here to help you realize your dream. And give us a call, 502-394-0400. It's never too late, never too early to at least get a second opinion. And we're here to help you realize your dream, your vision for the future. So with that said, have a great week. Thank you for listening, and share this video with your friends, family members, or loved ones. Subscribe to the KPP page, and look forward to our conversation next week, where we'll have Rob Davenport and Ben Hopper, rather, talking about all things financial. So, Brendan, thank you again. I hope you all have a great week.
Good week, lads. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.